Hello everyone, this is Fatmata Koroma with Community Highlights, and I'm here with a special guest today. Her name is Fatmata Barrie, and she is running for Maryland State Delegate District 20. She's formerly a lawyer, and she's still practicing, but she decided to go into politics. So I will let her tell about herself and actually explain a little bit more about what this entails. Hello, Fatmata.
Hello, Fatmata. How are you?
I'm fine.
Good. The Fatmata Square.
Yes.
Okay, my name is Fatmata Barrie. I am running for state delegate to represent District 20, which is Silver Spring, Tacoma Park, and White Oak here in the state of Maryland. This role will entail being a lawmaker. Is equivalent to the House of Representatives here in Congress, up on Capitol Hill, but at the state level. So that's what the state delegate is equivalent to, just to give people a perspective.
Okay.
So we work with the Senate to create laws for the state of Maryland and give it to the governor. If I ever make it to the state delegate, that's what I'll be doing. And I'll be representing my district.
Okay. So why don't you tell us about why did you decide to take this position? I know you're a lawyer, you've been practicing for 15 years, and tell us why you decided to make that move to go into politics.
Well, I've been a community advocate, community activist, organizer, and as you said, an attorney. And I've been an attorney now for 15 years, but I've been a community person for about 20 years or so. And after working with other organizations and groups in the county and other individuals, decided to take what I have been doing on the advocacy level to the policy level, in the hopes that any differences I may have made as an activist and an advocate and a community organizer can transfer onto actual policy that directly affects people's lives and hopefully make people's lives better. And that's what made me decide, because District 20 is a great district, and I think it needs to add a voice like mine on there.
And that's more pertaining to Montgomery County.
Correct, but it will be in Annapolis. So the laws that we'll be working on, although I'll be representing District 20, Montgomery County, any laws that are put in place is for the entire state of Maryland.
Okay.
Correct.
So I know that you're very active, like you said, in the community. Can you tell us about some of the organizations and the community involvement projects that you've been involved in?
I am a former chair of the Montgomery County African Affairs Advisory Group. I am a current executive member of the AAG and African Immigrant Caucus and the Immigrant Community Services. I'm also a member of the East County Citizens Advisory Board. And so I've worked with different groups and organizations in those spheres to do workshops, immigration workshops, legal workshops, to do health workshops where we were able to bring in community leaders and do training on HIV/AIDS, those kind of things, in a culturally sensitive manner to ensure that when information is given out to our communities, that they're given out in such a way that it benefits those communities that they're targeting. Just to name a few, there are many other things. At the AAG, we've worked to create, with the county, of course, the Gilchrist Center, bring it out here actually to East County, right here on Bush Cheney Road. So there's a Gilchrist Center where you actually can get training for many things, including computer training, including HVAC, CNA. So if anyone has those needs, if they need training, come on over to the Gilchrist Center. There's services there for you.
Okay. And I know that you being an attorney, some of the projects that are very dear to heart, what I see you always talk about is immigration issues. Because I know, I don't know if everyone knows this, but you are originally from Sierra Leone, West Africa, and you've been here since childhood.
Correct.
So you're a citizen now.
I'm a complete citizen.
But you're still very active
Yes.
in the community.
Yes.
So that you represent.
Correct.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the immigration issues that you're passionate about and you're advocating for?
Okay. One of the things that's near and dear to my heart is the issue of the Dreamers,
Okay.
right? I came here by, by the grace of God. I could have been one of those dreamers, because I came here, I was 11 years old, and I did not get on a plane by myself to bring myself to the US of A. My parents brought me. So they fought hard. I came here in 84. I didn't get my green card until the 90s. So right before I went to law school. So that has always been the backdrop for me. Make sure that people understand it's not just that the people who are here, that were brought here, they want to quote unquote break the law, as they say. They're not criminals. They came here at an age where they had no control over what happened to them and for them. And they pay taxes, they work, they go to school, some hire people, they create jobs, and they're great citizens of this great nation. And when people say things like, well, why don't we just go through the legal? It took us from 84 to before I went to law school for me to get my green card. The system itself is very broken. It just is. And we are working and we're advocating and we're trying to make sure that these children who were brought here at no fault of their own are able to live a good life. We go to school, our children are here attending schools, and we need to make sure that the schools our children are attending have the proper resources. So what I want to do is to be able to advocate for more funding for all schools within District 20. Doesn't matter where they are in District 20, whether they're on the upper side, eastern side, where I live in White Oak, or any other place, right? And in the state of Maryland, to make sure that when someone takes their child to school, they're safe. They feel safe that their child is receiving the proper education. And that means resources that can address the special needs children, because I also practice special education law, and children who need extra assistance to close the achievement gap, and to make sure that all children, no matter where they come from or who they are able to gain from the U.S. Education system. And of course, immigration, as I said earlier, that's one of my key. And we have something that right now they've been working on called the Trust Act. And the Trust Act is to ensure that immigrants are not stopped and asked for their papers because of what the administration, the executive order. To counter that, they had proposed this Trust Act. It had not passed yet. So we're hoping that it will, but if it hasn't, by the time I get there, that's one thing that we'll fight very hard for. And transportation, because where we live down on 29 up here is very, for those who live here, the congestion going down to DC is very difficult. And not everyone has the ability to get from point A to point B very easily. Some of us are lucky, we have cars and so on and so forth. Where transportation is key. We have what's called the bus rapid transit system that's supposed to be coming over this way. And that's something that I've always advocated for, I've testified for in front of the county council, supported the Purple Line, which we're hoping would help us out on this side of town to be able to get around the rest of the county and make sure that we're able to get to where we need. And there are several other issues, but those are some of my major issues. And an issue that's really close to my heart is senior citizens, our older people. They need services. I have gone door to door knocking. I've met, they're on fixed incomes, but they don't get everything that they need to get. And they have to pay what we pay, and there's no way out for them really. And I think that we sometimes forget that the struggles and the fights and the whatever it is they've done in the past is what has given us what we have today. And I think sometimes that hinders the work we do to make them be better. And Montgomery County is, you're either very old or very young. There's very little in between, because a lot of young people are going out because for them it's too expensive. So our older population needs help.
I know you'll be having a kickoff of your campaign.
Yes.
Is it next week? That's
Next Saturday, November 18th at the
Okay.
White Oak Rec Center.
All right.
It's over at 1700 April Lane, and it'll be a fun event. It'll be a nice event. People get to see me and see who I am.
All right.
And the elections are in June 26, 2018. And the hope is that I will hopefully have people come, show up. It's from 2 to 5, and it's 2 p.m. sharp. My whole campaign is community based. So my hope is that the community will show up, because that's who I'm running for. I'm not running for myself or for anything else. I'm running for the community. And I need the community to show up so that I will know what the community wants from me, and so they can hear what I'm willing to give and what I want to do when I get there. And hopefully people can show up and see what you may get in the state delegate.
So please go out there and vote and support her. She has a kickoff of her campaign November 18th. How can they find you?
Okay, my website is www.fatmatabarrie.com. I'm also on Facebook, Fatmata Barrie for State Delegate. And my email address is info@fatmatabarrie.com. You can contact me at any of those. You can find all the information. And go on the website and support, donate, sign up for updates, sign up to volunteer, because this is my first time running for office. If I make it there, I'll be the first African to hold that office. And right now I'm the first African woman to even run for the seat. So it will make a really great impact if I can have the support of the community. The more volunteers, the better. I need an army, is what I like to say.
Okay.
So thank you very much for having me.
Okay, thank you. And that's it for today. This is Fatmata Koroma with Community Highlights. And again, we have special guest Fatmata Barrie running for Maryland State Delegates, District 20. Thank you and have a good night.